All right, so now this is the start of the walking and talking with the dogs, throwing the ball on the beach, this little side project. It's funny, so I don't know if you can see right here. Let me see if I can get the camera down here. I keep all these balls in the tree, a bunch of tennis balls. 1, 2, 3. This other tree too, right here. Let me see. Trying to get oh, there it is. Anyhow, I've got like 4 or 5 tennis balls, and the dogs sit here all day by the trees, palm trees, just looking at them and looking at me like, let's get this going. So I'm gonna experiment with a bunch of different little chopped up videos. Because I'm gonna change the camera angle on them, and I'm gonna then change it back to me a couple times. So bear with me. I'm still experimenting on what the best format is on how to do this. All right, I'm coming down here by the beach. Beautiful landmark behind us. Hacienda Hotel. Look at these 2 huskies down here. All right, I'm back. So, one thing that, all right, here we go. One thing that, look at the dogs out here, no. One thing that really I don't jive with in regards to, you know what, Donald wants to come into Mexico and battle the cartels here, for example, at least if you believe some of the articles that are out there, and that may be true. But one of the problems I have with that, I have a couple problems with it. I support a lot of the stuff he does, but this stuff I disagree with just philosophically. Like a war on drugs and a war on religion are wars that can never be won. There's no defined enemy. There's no declaration of war. There's no line in the sand that once it's crossed over, the war is won. Like, it's never going to be won. So, a couple things. I'm wondering how much more effective it would be increasing the look at these guys waiting. All right, let me throw this for him. How much more effective, those dogs are crazy. How much more effective would it be if we just made much stiffer sentences and tried to curb demand, you know? Like, why don't we get our own act together? In my eyes, this is just me thinking out loud. Why don't Americans get their demand issues more in check? Like, if you go to Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, you know, a lot of Asian countries specifically, where the sentencing is strict, they have probably a bigger fear of getting in trouble, and maybe that works better than attacking. I mean, of course you can attack the supply, but you're talking about a sovereign nation going into a sovereign nation and trying to go after the suppliers on their turf, which is, that's in murky waters if you do that. Very murky waters. So why not make stiffer sentencing for consumers rather than like encouraging people to live on the street, get free needle exchanges? You know what? We're enabling a lot of people in certain cities and in states. We're enabling a lot of people to have zero fear of reciprocity, have zero concerns of getting caught, free Narcan if they overdose, whatever. I get it, fentanyl's a problem, and that's a big discussion. But I'm wondering why we can't go the route of, like, let's say Portugal. Hold on, let me grab the ball here. Where's the ball, Ada? Ada, give me the ball. Ada, come here. Why can't we go the route of Portugal maybe and decriminalize everything? That could be an interesting experiment. I've been wondering very specifically for a long time, You know, why don't we decriminalize or even take the bold leap of legalizing all or most drugs like Senator Ron Johnson was talking about for a long time? Why don't we legalize everything, tax it, control it better, and so you're not spending hundreds of billions of dollars fighting a lose scenario. And so you save hundreds of billions of dollars fighting a war that can never be won. And you, let's see where the dogs are. They're crazy. So you save, let's say, hundreds of billions of dollars. Let's say it's $1 trillion every 3 years, just as an example. So every 3 years, you're saving $1 trillion, which is huge. You're taxing everything. It's easier to get crystal meth or weed or coke or fentanyl or Xanax at a lot of middle schools and upper middle schools or high schools or whatever you call them, whatever state you're in. It's easier to get meth and coke than it is like new school books in some situations. So if it's easy getting everything, we're not winning this war on drugs. Of course, we're putting a dent in it. I mean, there's people in jail, but it's never, ever, ever going away. So why don't we, at some point, realize that, either take like the Portugal approach, decriminalize things. We could go even further and maybe even legalize things. And it's not like you can't already get anything you want in your neighborhood with almost zero concern or fear of getting in trouble. It's not like you can't get anything with like 1 or 2 text messages away from whatever you want, technically speaking, right? So anyhow, give me the ball. These are just my thoughts for the day, or excuse me, for the week. Walking and talking with the dogs, avoiding rabbit holes. And this week I delved into the war on drugs. Just like the war on religion. It's never going to end. We can't win the war on drugs. And at what expense are we willing to keep fighting it? You know what I mean? So just some food for thought. Hopefully, as a few more people each week start listening to this, some of you guys comment, tell me what you want to hear me talk about next. I've been thinking a lot about GMO corn in Mexico. I've been thinking a lot about AI and robotics, but I already touched on that last week. I've been thinking a lot about what's going on in Hollywood with a couple of these crazy cases, like Epstein and Diddy. That's a whole nother conversation. Pretty much any of these topics. Hey, look who's got Morgan and her dog playing after volleyball. I've been thinking a lot about certain topics, and I don't want to go too deep into the conspiracy realm because some people's heads explode, but I was just listening to Ian Carroll, who's blowing up right now. I was just listening to him. He's hosting the Candace Owens podcast while she's out on paternity leave. And he was going hard in the paint. He was going hard in the paint on deep underground military bases. And I know a lot about them, but it's like, can you talk about some of these things without people going, man, this guy's been catching too much secondhand smoke down there in Mexico. But let me know if any of you are listening this far. Let me know what you want to hear about. Adrenochrome, we can talk about. We can talk about Satanism in Hollywood. We can talk about Pizzagate. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. Anyhow, I'm signing off down here. Beautiful Cerritos Beach. Do a 360 really quick. All right, you guys have a good day.